If you ever bring up Space Dandy in a conversation, you usually meet one of three people. Number one, the people that absolutely love it. Number two, the people that absolutely hate it. And number three, the people who have never even heard of this anime. I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm a part of the number one group. I fell in love with this anime back when it premiered late 2013, I believe, when it first premiered, and I've honestly only fell in love with it even more the older I got. And let me explain to you why. First off, let me introduce you to the cast of characters you'll be exploring with. So first up, we have Space Dandy, a multi-talented alien hunter with a supreme love of women. Next up, we have QT, a highly advanced vacuum cleaner AI that takes care of Dandy's ship on their adventures. And lastly, we have Meow, a cat-like alien.
Aw, come on, you guys, don't do me like that. I'm a Beetlejuicean.
Yeah, sure, whatever. A Beetlejuicean with cat-like tendencies. And to top it all off, he's lazy and perverted. These are the main characters you'll be exploring the show with, but don't worry. You'll meet a lot of other characters along the way, so don't think you're just stuck with these three. Now, let me give you a little more insight on why these characters are super relatable and grounded. You see, Dandy is or might be the most relatable character in anime. He gives you life advice like an uncle or an older brother would do, and that's a really cool thing. And he's hilarious. He does the absolute extreme in situations. Like, let me give you an example. So Space Dandy goes to a hospital planet to visit Meow, the cat, with QT. Meow is sick with a deadly virus, so they just want to check up on him to see if he's doing okay. But once they get a little bit farther in, they notice there are a lot of zombies everywhere, so they try to get to a safer area quickly. But the farther in they get, they notice that more zombies are in the hospital than they originally thought. One zombie notices them, and now I actually have a multiple choice question for you. I want you to choose out of these three categories about what you think happened next. Did Dandy A, take out the zombie swiftly so the others weren't alerted, B, get killed, or even C, shoot them with his laser pistol? That was a trick question. It's D. He shoved his AI friend QT into their mouths to escape, then used him as a bowling ball, and then pretended like it never happened. Now honestly, that is messed up, but come on, QT is a robot. You wouldn't really expect him to turn into a zombie anyways. But somehow he did. But hey, karma exists, and Dandy became a zombie anyways, and so did the entire universe. Oh, and just to let you know, that was only the 4th episode. You see, what makes Space Dandy a special anime to me is that every episode is a different story. When you start a new episode, you are introduced to a new plot, and you finish that plot in the same episode. There's not 3 episodes where we need to let Goku charge up or some dumb shit like that. It gets straight to the fucking point, and it doesn't waste your time. Space Dandy is categorized as a comedy and a space opera. I honestly don't know what the fuck a space opera is until I search it up. And while that is true, I would still categorize Space Dandy as an anthology. For example, another show that I recommend to you guys is Love, Death, Robots. You can watch that on Netflix. It's a really good show. It's the perfect example of an anthology. You see, every episode is a different story with a different cast of people. And while Space Dandy isn't technically that, it still follows the same format. Like, for example, one episode, you're watching Dandy live life as a zombie. Then the next episode, Dandy is racing throughout the cosmos. And then another episode, Dandy explores the meaning of life in the afterlife and finds out the meaning of life from other people who have lived through life previously. And the next, Dandy is helping someone understand the meaning of their own happiness. This show is so amazing because it can go from having deep episodes to having wacky ones where Dandy's trying to find the best ramen in the universe. But bro, this is just the icing on the cake. There's a lot more to experience in this show that I just don't want to spoil for you. Space Dandy's personality just fits the role he needs to play. Everything he does is just relatable and comical. Now don't get it twisted, he's not all just comedy. He can be serious when he needs to be. The best way to describe him is, he's not the main character that always wins or that's destined to be the best in the future. He gets struck down and friend zoned by ladies all the time, but he's also able to pull women too. He loses fights and he wins some. Sometimes Dandy has a lot of money, and other times he's just like us, dirt poor, to the point where he's starving and just floating throughout space. And another thing I really respect about Dandy is that he never backs down from his morals. He would rather be broke and homeless than to do something that went against his code of ethics. Bro, he is such a good character. Bro, this show is so good, it actually made me feel for QT, a literal AI vacuum cleaner, and a fucking cat that wears Crocs. I never thought I would say that. But his outfit is drippy. The man got the overalls, the Crocs, and the little beanie. Meow is snazzy, I'm not gonna lie. And don't even get me started on the animation. I forgot to mention this, but almost every episode changes animation. Sometimes multiple changes in one episode. The Bones animation team was going crazy in this one. I don't understand. They just got hella budgeting for this one, or they were just having hella fun with Space Dandy. And the music is just, oh my god. It has this really space 90s feel. It's groovy. It's so good. Listen, I don't watch anime intros, right? But I will watch Space Dandy's anime intro. It is so groovy. It is so good. You just feel that space funk vibe. It's so good. But now let me tell you about the world. This anime takes place in all of space, the literal biggest thing known to man, and yet this anime has better world building than most anime. I like to compare it to One Piece in that regard. You see, most animes just say, hey, let's put it in Japan. Everyone likes Japan, and that's it. And then they don't give the world any character at all. Sure, it works for certain animes like Slice of Life because you don't need to know what's going on in a bigger scale, just the immediate area. But other bigger scale animes, it just kind of falls flat to me, like Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia, because bigger scale animes tend to only make it seem like events only happen in Japan and nowhere else. I understand the main characters are located in Japan, sure, but for world building's sake, let us know what's going on in other parts of the world. Like, make the world feel alive and just not a singular country. Like, for example, One Piece. This is a show that takes place on what we can assume is like Earth. It's just one planet, but this world feels 100 times bigger than any planet I've ever heard because of the amazing world building. I remember every place they visit. I remember Alabastus, I remember Nami's house, I remember Skypiea. There's so many places, and that's only a couple hundred episodes into the anime. It gets even better, and that's what I love about Space Dandy. They use the universe as your main area, and every planet you go to is memorable and likable. They give it life. They let you know that real things like dating, people having to work a 9-to-5 job, happens on other planets. It gives you a relatable sense to that planet. So if a planet happens to, you know, blow up, you feel some type of way, like, damn, there are people there. Like, bro, you can go to a lone planet with a population of like 50 people and all they do is fish, and it's still interesting. I'm not even joking, that happens in the anime, and it was still engaging as fuck. But after all that I've said to you, and it still doesn't convince you to watch Space Dandy, I'm gonna have to pull out my secret weapon. They have a planet called Boobies. It is a literal boob-shaped planet. It's more of a space hub built by people, but it's super diverse. You'll see alien boobs with like up to 10 boobs at a time, or human boobs with a measly 2. And that should honestly convince you to check it out, I'm gonna be honest. You see it like in the first 5 minutes of the episode of episode 1. Now I know there are arguably other animes better than Space Dandy, like Jujutsu Kaisen or My Hero Academia, but Space Dandy is my personal favorite. I love Space Dandy because it tries something new and refreshing. It wasn't afraid to take a leap, and that leap was a W. Even if you don't relate to one of the 3, I'm sure there are other characters that you'll relate to. I strongly suggest you guys give Space Dandy a chance. Even if you don't like it as a whole, I believe there will be some episodes that will stick with you for life.